All right. Happy Monday night. Hope you guys are doing well. I'm going to go ahead and run it down tonight like we normally do every Monday night on the Q&A here on the channel. Hope you guys enjoy the lives. I enjoy them. I get a lot of fulfillment from coming on here and answering really good questions that good people put out. And we're over here on TikTok. Got it here on YouTube as well. Out there on X. Maybe we'll get to Instagram at some point in the future. A lot of FUD. The FUD is thick out there about XRP. I don't know if you guys have been over on Twitter or not today, but a lot of people starting to get scared that Bitcoin is not the end all be all that they've been sold. We'll see, if it is or isn't. I don't think it is. I think that it will be superseded by a myriad of other assets over the next, this year for sure. There'll be a couple coins that have a higher market cap than Bitcoin. But I think over time there will just be, it'll end up like the Netscape, there's always a first mover. There's always somebody that disrupts an industry or a market, and that person or the company or the asset or whatever it is gets a spotlight for a period of time, and there's a significant adoption and it becomes a brand name, and then better technology comes along. Specific parties start to use that technology. The government steps in and does something because they have vested interest and want things to succeed, and things change. And that's not a bad thing. You just want to know, when that's going to happen and be able to pivot with your own interests and be able to make sure that you're able to capitalize on those things as they happen. And I think we're close to that inflection point for crypto. I know people have said that for a long time, but I really do think we're on the precipice of that here with the new administration. You have bipartisan support for, changing regulation around digital assets. A lot of constraints that have been, around the industry for the last 15 years that have allowed Bitcoin and Ethereum and Tether to basically move unregulated and as they saw fit are going to come to an end. And you've already seen the ETFs around Bitcoin and Ethereum drive price appreciation over this cycle. No matter what you want to say, this cycle is different. There's never been a circumstance where Bitcoin made it to its all-time high before the halving. That did happen last year in 2024, which is completely different than any other previous cycle. So, I know a lot of people that were very happy about that. They got to see, price appreciation beyond what they thought was going to happen during that time frame. You've also got Tether moving offshore to El Salvador, and possible sanctions and other things coming for that token and that network. You've got other stable coins starting to hit the spotlight. ROUSD just surpassed $120 million market cap today. Kudos to Ripple. Excited for those guys over there. But anyway, a lot of market dynamics shifting. Excited to see, what Trump does around the capital gains tax for American-based cryptos. Bitcoin is not American-based, no matter, and it's funny how people suit their narrative whenever things are beneficial, and then when they're not, they change their narrative. It's a decentralized application. It's global. There's nobody that can stop it until there's no taxes here in the US, and then they want it to be American based. Can't have your cake and eat it too. You know what I mean? Can't have it both ways. So anyway, we're going to run it down tonight. Appreciate you guys hopping on here and joining in, asking great questions in the chat. We will run those down here on TikTok as well as over here on X and YouTube. So without further ado, go ahead and hop into it. We got Atlantic Living. They always ask fantastic questions. They say, don't mean to put you on the spot. A great way to start the question. Are there some good things about XRP behind the scenes that you know that you don't have the liberty to discuss? Don't have to say anything other than yes. I'll just give you the wink and nod, and we'll move on to the next question. Carl says, can you talk more about the Digital Asset Growth Fund, Share Class C? I run everything through ChatGPT to help me understand, but it's always better to hear from you. I am not a financial advisor. I am a board member there at Digital Wealth Partners. I do have some say-so in how things go over there, but I do not run the day-to-day. Max Kahn, Matt Schneider, Connor, and the other advisors and people that work there at the firm could run this down better than myself. So I will leave it to them to do that, and they will be happy that I'm operating in that capacity and not putting words in their mouth. If you want full clarity on any of the strategies to be able to earn returns with your XRP, please reach out to digitalwealthpartners.net. You can email them at info@digitalwealthpartners.net and ask this exact question, and they will give you full end-to-end transparency on exactly what that means. But the growth fund, just at a high level, there's a growth fund and an income fund. The growth fund is to grow your allocation to XRP. So it's paid out in XRP on the quarterly basis where the returns are paid out. And they can talk more to, the sub-advisors. 2 Prime, I believe, is the fund or the sub-advisor that we use for the growth fund over there. You can go check them out. They have fantastic track record of returns year over year for the past 5 years. Same thing with Algos, who is our other partner on the income fund. So we've put together a way that accredited investors that are holding XRP, that are working with Digital Wealth Partners, can earn returns on their XRP. So, and it's legit, it's insured, it's an SEC registered RIA. We've done it as above board to the highest standard possible as far as compliance goes. And it's exciting to be able to see, like a lot of this stuff is, again, selfish. I wanted institutional custody for my XRP and my family. And I wanted to be able to borrow against the XRP and then take that liquidity and do other stuff with it and be able to put that XRP to use to be able to get cash on cash returns, something while I'm holding it. It's appreciating in value, but I'm generating returns with it. And we have that. So if that's something you're interested in, if you want to learn more about that, again, I would just reach out to Digital Wealth Partners. You can go to the website, digitalwealthpartners.net, or you can email info@digitalwealthpartners, and they can answer any and all questions you might have about the returns, institutional custody, or the other services that they provide. Let's see here. Glad to hear your boy's doing better, Carl. Let's see here. We got sweet potato. $1 is currently worth about 150 yen, 151 yen. At what price does the yen have to be in comparison to the dollar for reverse carry trade to unwind? It started to do it last time at about 140 to 1 when the yen was getting stronger against the dollar. They've been keeping it in the middle of the range. What I've been watching lately is the 10-year yield for the JPY. You can just, Google JPY 10-year yield. And we're creeping up. We're at 1.4%, which doesn't seem like that much, but it's an extreme move higher from where things were just a few weeks ago on the 10-year yield. And I think that pace is going to continue. When it gets to around 1.5, 1.5%, that's when I think things are going to start to get a little scary in the market. And I think things could move quickly that direction if the Bank of Japan were to raise interest rates again, which they're going to need to in a very short period of time. They did raise interest rates in January. There was an FOMC meeting. The Fed paused. They did not come down with interest rates. So if we move down or they move up another quarter basis point, we're on the precipice of things finally kicking off here. Living Legacy says, thank you for joining. Please like, share, subscribe, It helps the video and the channel. I would second that. I don't say it enough on here, but if you are watching, it does help the channel, and it is much appreciated if you would like to do those things. Dave Smith over here on TikTok says, I'm an accredited investor. Can you restate the website? It is digitalwealthpartners.net. If you're holding a decent amount of XRP and you want to start to earn yield on it, and you're accredited, we're happy to work with you in that capacity and help you earn some returns on that XRP in a very safe, low risk way. Like it's not no risk, but it's extremely low risk in comparison to anything else that's on the market. Maddie B, what's going on, brother? He says, please explain how trading assets on the XRP between counterparties will increase the price of XRP. I don't understand why those transactions will drive price appreciation. So supply and demand. It's really that simple on the dynamic. Most people took economics in high school or college, but there's a fixed amount of XRP, right? There can't be more XRP. There's actually less and less XRP every single day. And there's only so much XRP available on the market. There's going to be a ton of people that are buying up the XRP for spot ETFs, holding it to be able to provide liquidity or rebalance their own balance sheet if prices were to escalate. And then you have a bunch of retail people also just holding XRP for the price appreciation. And they've been sold on this narrative of where the prices are going. And, I believe that. So I don't think they're going to be willing to sell for anything less than that. So there's really, potentially a ton of demand that could flow onto the market, very limited supply that could be used to facilitate that demand. So when counterparties are exchanging things, there's a DEX or decentralized exchange that's built into XRP and the network. And it's really the network. But most of the time, if there's enough liquidity in XRP, the easiest path between two parties, instead of finding a market where an AMM or a liquidity pool could match those pairs, it'll just route the exchange through XRP. And so that drives transactional volume through XRP. And because that value is moving through XRP on a consistent basis, that's the key, is when you have, hundreds of thousands of transactions moving through XRP, because that's the best way it can be routed and what has the most liquidity, it'll sustain that value and drive value much higher to be able to facilitate the transfer of that value. Again, supply and demand. So I'm not sure if that's going to drive it home, or if you would like a deeper explanation, or if it's probably a way that I could simplify that. But really what it comes down to is supply and demand, and that's why the price will move substantially higher. Katie Girl, she says, hey, ma'am. She says, howdy, Jake. What percent did you say the JPY? Oh, I just, she says 1.39. I'm looking for 1.5. North of 1.5, 1.5% is when I think things will start to kick off here. Got a few super chats. Appreciate you on these. Corb says, if XRP went to $10,000 per XRP, it would mean the market cap would be 1 quadrillion. There's only 83 trillion in currency circulating around the globe. Where would then money come from to buy your XRP? You couldn't buy it all? It would be the primary value transfer mechanism globally. I know this is a very difficult, it's a complete paradigm shift from what we have today. Everyone, including myself, is used to everything being denominated in dollars, global markets being denominated in dollars, transactions happening in dollars globally. There's $27 trillion locked up in counterparty currencies all over the world to be able to facilitate settlement. Banks lock that currency up to be able to hold that and ensure that they can settle into whatever jurisdiction or currency they need to. They no longer have to do this with XRP being the bridge asset. They settle real time. They don't have any counterparty risk of holding another currency in another country if they don't want to. And they can take the capital that they would have used to do that and put it to work in a lot of other ways that probably actually produce a significantly higher return and drive economic benefit rather than just setting it in an account. Just because the market cap of something is in the quadrillions, this isn't a company. And I put out a video about this. If you want to go check it out on the channel, it was released earlier today. I walk through market cap of a network, which is very different than market cap of a company. So, but I'll relay it here for people that may have not watched the video. So if you look at a market cap of a stock, you have however many outstanding shares there are, which I hear people call XRP shares all the time. It was Gary Cardone did it the other day, and I'm like, do you even know what this stuff is? They're not shares, okay? But most people relate it to that because there's a corollary there, and that's easy for them to understand. So you look at a company, you look at the value of the shares that are trading on the open market, and you would multiply that by the outstanding shares that have been issued, and that gives you the market cap of the company, right? Those are shares being traded in a market that are ascribed to a value that people believe a corporation is worth. A lot of the time that is extremely exacerbated. Valuations on companies are, I don't want to say fickle, that's not the right word, but just can be inflated. And people trade on emotion. And there's a lot of things that are justified in valuations when I look at a corporation, sometimes things that are pre-revenue. I know a company that's pre-revenue that's valued at $600 million right now. I think that they will be worth that. But anyway, just stuff like that. A network operates in a completely different capacity than a company does. And it's a protocol. So imagine email or the HTTP, I don't remember the exact term. There's a bunch of protocols that run the internet, allow for interoperability, that create the internet. This is the internet of value, right? So it's similar. But imagine you sent $1 every time you sent an email. Imagine the volume of money and value that would be moving over the email protocol on a daily basis. Then ascribe a market cap to that, right? And there would have to be, let's say there's a finite number of tokens that could move that value over the email protocol. Well, if you're I get a lot of emails every single day. It'd be $500-$600 a day, just my side of it, between emails I received and emails I sent. And I'm just one person. There's 8 billion people on the planet. The majority of those people have smartphones at this point. I don't know how many emails there are on a daily basis, but it would be probably, if I'm sending at least 100, I'd say on average, people probably get 100 emails a day. So we'll just go ahead and put that next to 8 billion. So we get 800 billion. and if everybody was sending just $1 over that protocol. And again, the market cap would be moving $800 billion worth of value, but how many tokens are there, right? So there's going to have to be a certain amount of liquidity in that token that's going to be moving that value. And that's what crypto is. That's what these networks are. So that's the corollary that I can kind of give people that might allow them to see that this is a very different class of assets than equities or securities. And the other component is these networks will swallow all of the other financial products that exist today and markets, because all of it will end up being tokenized. All that value will move onto the network. And then you have to have enough liquidity in these tokens to be able to transmit and settle those transactions. I believe that the lion's share of that will likely go on the XRPL. Are they going to get all the money? Maybe. That's Ripple's ascribed mission, right? Maybe over time they will. And I think they've been pretty successful with the partnerships that they've curated and the adoption that they've been able to achieve for the XRPL, even though it's not apparent at this point. I think if the 1,700 NDAs that they have came out, people would be very aware that they've been very successful in getting the network to become decentralized and getting participation from governments, institutions, enterprises, anyone and everyone that's sending a high value payment, I think will likely settle through XRP over the long term, especially as there's more liquidity in the token. The ETFs are a key piece for that too. Again, supply and demand. So, and everybody comes back to this market cap. Yeah, it's going to be in the quadrillions. It's going to look absurd to people when this kicks off, when it goes to 100, when it goes to 1,000, when it goes to 10,000. People are not going to be able to comprehend, just like they wouldn't, like imagine you had 20 years ago, you told somebody there was going to be a stock that was worth $1 trillion. There's a company that had $1 trillion market cap. They'd have looked at you like you had three eyes. No way. That's never going to happen, But now today we have Google, Amazon, all the FANG stocks, Saudi Aramco. There's probably 10, 15, 20 stocks that are close to $1 trillion or over $1 trillion or trillions of dollars in total market cap. So anyway, hopefully that gives you some context around why and how this can happen and what my opinion on it is. We also have Honest Aim. Thank you so much for the super chat, brother. He says, Jake, I'm so glad to have our money in Anchorage. We're sleeping well at night again with all the market turmoil. Thanks for all you do, including the future deal flow. Blessings to the Mastermind. Absolutely, brother. Appreciate having you and your wife part of our group. For those that don't know, we do have a Mastermind group. It's Beyond Broke Mastermind. Check it out. Have almost 1,500 members there, which is crazy to think about. Everyone there has a significant interest in digital assets and a lot of commonality. The culture there is fantastic. Everyone there is there to learn and improve themselves and prepare for price appreciation to make sure that they don't mess it up. So if that sounds like it's something cool to you, you can go check it out. You get a month for free if you use the code Beyond Broke, just like it's spelled up here. All capitalized, the number 1, and then MO, or like Mary Oscar, gets you a month free there in the group. You can do social or carbon 1. So again, that's Beyond Broke, all capitalized, the number 1, and then MO is the code at beyondbroke.com. You get a free month there in the Mastermind. Come into the Discord, check it out. We have calls like this, well, a little bit different than this, Saturday and Monday, where we go into detail about some of the, things that I know in the background and other things that we're working on, deals that we're running there in the group. You don't have to be accredited to participate on the deal flow that we have there in the group. We invest in fintech companies, many of which you probably know and love, and we can get you access even if you are not accredited. We qualify you as sophisticated there in the group, and we run 506B deals there, Reg D funds here in the U.S., where we're allowed to have up to 35 non-accredited people on the cap table that are sophisticated, that understand the risks, and are educated on the topic that they are investing in. So would love to, tell you more about all the cool stuff there. The thing I can't do is talk about that publicly because they're 506B, but I can talk about the group and the fact that we run them there. And so if that's something you're interested in, we'd love to discuss more in the group. We got Off the Grid. They say the best to worst AVAX, XRP, Stronghold, Quant, XLM. I would say XRP, if just out of these assets here, XRP, XLM, AVAX, Stronghold, Quant would be my, if I had to run them down in an order. What is this? Ryan says equals that guy. Yeah, there you go. I am that guy. I'll take it. Let's see if we got any other. Here we go. Super chat. We got Off the Grid. He says the value, liquidity pools, and staking when XRP XLM Quant being fully used, and 2 trust with one with only house, second has 2 LLC, 1 for business, 1 for invest. Glad to see that you have a couple, LLCs set up. If that's something you guys are interested in, it is something we do for our clients. We require that everybody at Digital Wealth Partners does hold their digital assets that they're working with us on in an entity, whether that's a trust, an IRA, or an LLC, or a foreign corporation. happy to work with you guys to set those up. We do have always, we're running specials on the LLC. We want to make it affordable for people so that they can be in the best position for price appreciation. If you want to learn more about that, you can just email us at info@digitalfamilyoffice.io, or you can go to the website, digitalfamilyoffice.io, and type LLC into the top up there, and you can go check it out. The code for the 50% off, we normally charge $3,000 to set up the LLC, end-to-end, EIN, articles of organization, registered agent, certificate of good standing, BOIR, if they require it. We'll see. We do the full operating agreement template for you to make sure that you are covered for everything, managing your digital asset investments inside of a LLC. And then we give you a full video on how to set up a bank account. We also give you the full breakdown of how you move your assets into the LLC without any tax implications or issues. So if that's something you're interested in, you can just go check that out on the website. And again, the code for the $1,500 to get that all done end to end, no problems for you, is 50 off, 50 OFF DAG, like Digital Ascension Group LLC. That is the code, and that gets you where you want to be before price appreciation. So let's see here. Glad to see that you have a couple of those set up, and I think you're going to be in a good spot. Brian says, hi, how are you, sir? I have 1/3 of my crypto in cold storage, 1/3 at Caleb & Brown, and 1/3 in a Roth that I trust. Would this be hard to convert to an LLC? Both the crypto in cold storage and the crypto at Caleb & Brown would be very easy to move into the LLC, no problems. The LLC, the crypto that's in a Roth that I trust, we can move that over to Digital Wealth Partners if that's something you're interested in. We provide other avenues to be able to give you some benefits there on the Roth IRA with digital assets that I trust never will. They don't do the staking, and they definitely aren't looking at other avenues to be able to generate returns inside of your retirement account other than trading, which we can do at a cheaper cost than they can. But the other 2/3, the crypto in your cold wallet and at Caleb & Brown, can easily be moved into an LLC. And then on the other side of price appreciation, you have the full breadth of the tax code to be able to offset what you want to spend that on, right? And mitigate taxes, set up insurance policies, buy vehicles, lots of things that you can do with that capital when you do take profit or earn income with it that would allow you to be able to offset the taxes associated with it that you cannot do in your personal name. So again, happy to help you with any and all of that. Just email us over there at digitalwealthpartners.net, and they can definitely get you set up. Brian, appreciate you reaching out and for the super chat. Mighty Tone, I say, do you think Axelar is all that and here to stay with excellent ROI? We met with their founder today. What was his? Gregorios? Anyway, great gentleman. He's going to be in New York for a couple weeks here. Actually, for probably a couple months. The rest of this quarter. Just getting things lined out for their U.S. Location and their personnel here. I think that they're going to be the network that connects all networks. Cosmos is what I used to think was going to play that role. And I do think they'll still be somewhat in that capacity. You've got derivatives of Cosmos like Provenance that Figures built all of their stuff on. But I think Axelar, because of their integration with JP Morgan and their network Onyx and the bridge to the EVM side chain for the XRPL that allows for interoperability there. The majority of their connections right now are EVM-based chains, and they're continuing to build out stuff to other public networks. We tried to impress upon them today the value that connecting to private permissioned ecosystems and private blockchains would have for Axelar over the long term. But it doesn't seem that that's a super priority for them, even though I think that's where a lot of the private investments will originally be tokenized in private permissioned ecosystems for their primary market, and then they'll move to secondaries on public chains. And I think Axelar provides a fantastic mechanism for distribution of those tokens and a secondary market when that time comes. So anyway, yeah, I think they're definitely here to stay. I think that they have deep roads and integrations with a lot of the right players, and excited to see what happens to the token as adoption continues. Thank you for the super chat on this one, sir. If you have a question later on, I will answer it. I'll try to look for it here. Oh, he already asked me that one. Roll back up to the top here. J.K. Richardson, thank you for the super chat, brother. I'll look for your questions. He says 20 in the previous here. Not sure if he was trying to type that for the super chat, but if you have a question, happy to answer it. And thank you for being here in the support. Ariad Imagery says Jake's going to buy XRP until $50. That is correct. I've said that before. I will continue to buy XRP all the way up to $50. Like imagine if you didn't buy Bitcoin up to $50. How silly would you feel if you were there early, you bought it in the pennies and you bought it in the dollars, and you were just like, it's too expensive at $5 or $10. I don't think so. I don't think it was too expensive at $5 or $10. I don't think it was too expensive at $50. I don't think Bitcoin was too expensive at $100. Still had 1,000x to go. You know what I mean? And that's how I feel about XRP. Like, I will continue to dollar cost average and ride that puppy up. I think when it goes to 50, you're going to see it go there very quickly. When it starts to when these ETFs get launched, look out. Price is going to skyrocket. Teresa says, have to go. Thank you. Hope you're well. Thank you, brother. Appreciate the super chat and appreciate you tuning in on a Monday night. Let's see. Matt says, me and my girlfriend both individually purchased crypto and have stored it on one cold wallet for future withdrawal and tax purposes. What should we do? Perhaps move individual wallets? Yeah, if you're not married yet, probably, don't want to jinx your relationship. We deal with estate planning and things don't always work out like you plan, right? And obviously, you or her may be mad about that, but best practice would be to separate that until you did, tie the knot officially and get married. And then it's community property in almost all states. But yeah, I would separate it out. You might be able to, like, if it is XRP and you're using X-Man or Zaman or whatever it goes by now, you can set up separate wallets in the same app, and you might give each other access to it if that matters to y'all. So just so that you have visibility on things while you are together, and you can move it to another wallet or remove their access if you needed to on the other side of if anything, God forbid, happened, or consolidate it to one wallet. Things pop off. It sounds like you guys are both invested. That's great. We look at prenups. We look at post nuptials too. Again, not everybody. It's a spicy topic. It's not everybody's favorite topic. But there's always considerations on that stuff. You just want to make sure you're protected and that you're going to have the best setup for your marriage and any possible things that could happen. So anyway, wish you guys the best. But I would separate it out. Like you mentioned, for tax purposes and for other reasons. Gary says XRP ETF will start approval when? Is David Sachs going to announce something positive related to XRP? We got Pomp with an announcement tomorrow too. Pretty interesting to see. He's got something at 9:30. It's probably something to do with pizzas or something else, but I'm going to watch it. I'm interested to see what he has to say. Yeah, I mean, the ETFs have been acknowledged by the SEC. They got 45 days to approve them. April 1st, I think, is the deadline for that. So we should see something within the next, 35-ish days here on approval. And I think as soon as BlackRock throws their hat in the ring, that's who's going to get the approval and open the door for everybody else. A couple people over here on TikTok. This gentleman says, I want to hear your thoughts on companies using RippleNet and not having to use the Ripple ledger. So they can, and they've talked about this before. So, there's a couple things. Like Ripple sells XRP and funds their business with it. You can be mad about that, but that is the reality of the situation. They also use their treasury to hold a stable price for the token to be able to settle transactions and trial it in the use cases that they want to, and build out partnerships and decentralize the network and get adoption. People are salty about that. I'm okay with it. I don't care. Fund your business with it as long as we get the adoption and the price appreciation, and I'm able to use it in the capacity that I want. I'm not mad about it. I think it makes a lot of sense. But they do have a couple products. So RippleNet is ISO compliant. It's a messaging standard that banks can use to be able to settle transactions, and it can settle in fiat or crypto. So a lot of that right now is being settled through fiat transactions. It is more expensive to do it that way than it would be through a digital asset. And Bank of America did trial XRP in that application for a period of time back in 2018 through 2019, before the lawsuit with the SEC. I know that a lot of that has stopped since the lawsuit here in the U.S. They had the trial with MoneyGram also that they did for international settlement using XRP. They have their product ODL, which they use with people to settle outside the U.S. that don't want to hold like the Turkish lira or the Zimbabwe dollar or Argentinian peso, things that are hyperinflating. People don't want to have that nostro-vostro relationship, so they'll settle through XRP and they'll borrow it from Ripple to do it. But the majority of the volume currently does flow through fiat currency using RippleNet, but they have the option to move to a digital asset and use XRP in that capacity, and it is much cheaper and more efficient to do it. So it's not going to take but two banks deciding that they're going to transact over that way, and they get a competitive edge over everybody else, and you'll see an onslaught of people move that direction and start settling in the token versus fiat. So, but to your point, yes, that is currently how that works, and you got to get your foot in the door somehow, right? Like you got to be able to provide a product that works for people today, get them to adopt it, start using it, and then you can say, hey, we have these other options that involve the crypto piece. And I think they went about it the right way. I think a lot of people try to shove crypto down other people's throat that don't necessarily want it, and in so doing, turn people off to the whole thing. So kind of like boiling a frog, right? Like you get the frog in the water, and then you slowly start to ratchet up the temperature. And the frog's not going to notice as much. It's going to be like, oh, everything's fine. I think that's how the banks are with Ripple. To get them in the pool, get them to start use the technology, and then they're like, oh, you settle through this digital asset. Now there's regulation. Cool. Oh, you're saving money and you're moving much faster, and you're able to, make higher margins and do all this other cool stuff. And they're like, oh, awesome. It's a long process, and it's very gradual until it's not. We got Hunter. He says, if no capital gains on U.S.-based cryptos, isn't LLC needed to defer taxes, or is that needed as a protection for Anchorage to hold? So a couple things. It's not going to be no capital. It's going to be no capital gains if you sell, which great. That's awesome. Glad to hear it. But then you're going to lose exposure to the asset. So, again, imagine buying Bitcoin at $1 and selling at 100. You did great, 100x your return, but you missed out on the crazy upside that continued on after that, right? So if you want to sell some, take some off the table, it's never wrong to take profit. Everybody has different financial goals, and I think that people should be encouraged to execute their plan, whatever that is. However, if you're using that digital asset in some staking protocol, liquidity pool, DeFi, AMM, F asset, Flare network, whatever capacity to be able to generate a yield, those returns are still going to be taxable, right? And in that circumstance, it benefits you significantly to be holding those assets or using those assets to generate those returns inside of a corporation that gets the full tax code for the way that they can spend that money to be able to offset that taxation. Same thing with estate tax or gift tax. Those taxes aren't going away on crypto. Okay. So these are other considerations and reasons that you might want to set up an LLC. The other benefit of an LLC that I probably don't harp on enough here is the anonymity component. What happens if this does become a globally adopted network and it becomes the standard for moving value across the globe, and all wallets have to be recognized? Do you want your personal name on a wallet? I sure don't. I don't want people to know that I own however much XRP I own. You can already get on XRP scan and type in the exchanges and see those wallets and how much they own, right? So what's to say there's not some type of mandate that requires anybody that's holding a wallet address for XRP to disclose who owns it? Well, if you're filing a LLC in Wyoming, Nevada, South Dakota, Delaware here in the US, you get attorney-client privilege. And that means on any public-facing documents, your attorney's name or whoever filed the LLC's information is going to be there, not your information, which is great for anonymity. Same thing for trusts in those jurisdictions. When you're setting things up, that's always a consideration. So if you want to move in privacy like the wealthy do, I would encourage people to set up an LLC. We have, virtual offices that we can partner with to be able to forward your mail. If you want to get that discreet about it, I just use a PO box. You can set up a nominee service that can stand in as the manager of the company, so your name's not even on any of that paperwork and they sign on your behalf. Obviously, these things cost money, but they do provide you a veil of anonymity, and it is something to consider depending on how much money you have and what your priorities are. So hopefully that gives you a little more color around why an LLC is important outside of just the tax implications for selling your crypto if they are US based and Trump makes that ruling. I think you're going to see a big inflow of people back here to the US to issue their assets here, which will be great for our economy and fostering innovation. But there are going to be other considerations about how you use those assets to produce income that'll be taxable: gift tax, estate tax, other taxes outside of the scope of just the capital gains tax. John Patek. How are you, sir? Patak. What happens if I am a accredited investor and my net worth falls below $1 million benchmark? So if you qualified at any point in the last 2 years and you got a letter from your CPA, attorney, or your wealth manager that your assets were above that valuation, you can use that letter for the next 2 years from the date that it's written to be able to participate in private investments. Once you've submitted that letter to a general partner that's running a fund or raising capital, or you've invested with, they can hold that letter on file for 5 years and continue to work with you, even if your net worth falls far below the $1 million mark, or you lose your job and you lose your income. You'd still have the ability to invest. So once you're an accredited investor and you do get that accreditation letter, if you do it from Parallel Markets, which is our partner, it's good for 90 days. But if you get it from your CPA, your accountant, your wealth manager, and you get it invested, if you're going to invest, with the same person on a regular basis, again, that letter is good for 5 years for them and their protection. It's good for 2 years for you. Let's see here. Any other super chats? Here it is. They say, my question is, what's your thought on Howard Lutkin, since he owns millions in BTC and has spoken highly of USDT? Well, of course he has. People talk their book, right? And they have interest in order to do so. If you have a vested interest in something and you want it to go up in value, you're going to talk about it. I openly say I only own XRP. I come on here and I talk about XRP, but your investment in XRP isn't going to make the value go up. Like it's not going to matter. Retail is not going to move the price where we want it to go. It did back in 2017, early 2018, because the supply on the market, there was a supply shock and the demand was high, right? So they escrowed half of the supply at the time. and you saw it go from half a penny up to $3.84. And then they suppressed it with the CME, and they shut off the Southeast Asia exchange data, and then they started to see a fall off, and it went down and down and down from there. But honestly, there's enough XRP on the market now. It's only going to be institutional adoption that's going to drive the price to where we want to see it go. And again, I fully disclose like where I'm positioned. I'm not a financial advisor. It's not financial advice. Just come on here and answer great questions that are asked by people, and talk about things that I think are interesting. But this individual, I'm sure, is doing the same, and has a very vested interest, it sounds like, in Bitcoin's success. And he probably knows that Tether is the driving force, but by which liquidity flows into Bitcoin and drives the price and value up over whatever period of time. There's almost a direct correlation between people that are when they're printing Tether and Bitcoin price go up. So correlation doesn't always equal causation, but in this circumstance, I'm highly convinced that it does. And so it would make sense that somebody with a vested interest there would speak highly of the other. I don't know Howard personally. I've never heard him speak. It sounds like he's probably has a difference of opinion than myself, but he may be a very educated individual, and obviously he's been successful with his investment in Bitcoin. So, Godspeed to him. I hope he does well. I hope that he has a bag of XRP as a hedge. Gary Cardone came out and said he does has a hedge. He didn't say it was as a hedge, but it is a hedge. Anyway, I think that those people have done really well in Bitcoin, and a lot of them are scared that XRP is going to take the spotlight, and most of them already have taken a position. I'm such a Chad. Okay. I don't know. I have some good friends named Chad. They're good people. I'm going to take that as a compliment, MK. We'll see if it was or not. Why is XRP not breaking $3? There's not enough demand on the market to drive the price up. When the ETFs are launched, there'll be more than enough demand to drive the price up. Henry Liu, how are you, sir? He said, I appreciate you and your opinion. SEC will approve ETFs before April Fool's Day. They will make a decision on the ETFs before April Fool's Day. That is for certain. Will they approve them or not? Paul doesn't come in until April, May. Hester obviously is a proponent for things to move forward here in the U.S. in that respect. The SEC came out with something the other day that showed that they also don't view XRP as a security. So I think they could even approve the ETFs without the settlement of the case between Ripple and them. I think that's kind of a foregone conclusion. XRP in and of itself on the secondary market is not a security, and has full legal clarity from the SEC and the courts, and next will be Congress here in the U.S. And I'm bullish. I think that they're going to approve them, and I think it's going to be in a need to approve them to be able to drive liquidity into the asset, to be able to settle the back into the stock market, to save the day when everything is burning down. I think when the reverse carry trade unwinds, I don't think people are ready for the carnage that's going to ensue across all markets globally. Everything will melt down from people selling off positions to run back to repay those loans. And it's going to be irrespective. There's not going to be any market that's not touched that doesn't have a astronomical sell-off. There's tens of trillions of dollars that have been put to work from that trade over the last 25 years. And for all that to come home at the same time, it's going to be a bad day across all markets. But it's going to be one shiny object, and a lot of things will change on the other side of that. And I mean, that's what I'm excited for. Living Legacy says, smash the like button. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate everybody that's here watching, checking in. We got 550 people here tonight. If you do like this, think it's valuable, please like, subscribe, share it with somebody. It's an interesting comment here. We've got Count Tree 79. They say XRP is a slow rug pull. I mean, it's the second oldest crypto. June 2nd of 2012 was when it was issued, when they minted 100 billion XNS at the time. So if it's a rug pull, I mean, this is a really slow rug pull. But Bitcoin, I think, is a really slow rug pull. So which one's slower? Bitcoin would be the slower rug pull. It's not a rug pull, my man, or lady. They can't rug you. They escrowed billions of XRP. They sell billions onto the market every single month at the first of the month, and that's not suppressing price at this point because there's enough institutional demand that's soaking that up, and that will continue to build, especially with the ETFs and other products that are being launched on top of it, and then the DeFi applications, the use for settlement. There's just so many different ways that you can use the asset and the network itself. Like I said at the beginning of this, there's a lot of FUD out there. It is thick. Do your own research, make your own decisions. I'm just a guy on the internet that talks about this stuff. I have my own biases, and I'm transparent about those. And if it's, you think that I'm silly or that, I'm wrong, I'm cool. I've done enough research to know why I'm positioned where I'm positioned, and I hope that you've done the same for you, and I hope you are successful, and wish you the best. We've got CR. They say, why do you believe ETFs will raise the price of XRP? ETH didn't have a major rise compared to BTC. Why would a BlackRock ETF impact price appreciation? And what do you think price range is? Well, so this has happened before. So the reason I think that it would is I think it was November 14th of 2023. There was a trust filing for an iTrust shares XRP ETF that was found on the Delaware website. And as soon as that became public, you saw almost a 60% rise in the price within 30 minutes of that announcement. And then it was taken down and removed. And then the price obviously came back down on the word that it was fake news. But it wasn't fake news. They did file it. And to be able to file that, like BlackRock, there's really not a way to get around that because of the notaries and stuff that's involved. But anyway, irrespective of that, that is why I can tell you that because it's already happened. It's not like hearsay or hopium or my guess. It already took place in the past and will occur again when they roll that back out. ETH did not have a significant price rise. It had some appreciation and is held up right now by the volumes on the ETFs in comparison to where it would be. Same thing with Bitcoin. I don't think you would see, we would definitely have all-time high, but I don't think you would have got over 100,000 for Bitcoin if we didn't have the ETF volume buying it up and sustaining it. And we would have definitely had more volatility than we've had up to this point. There's been, in the past, there's always 30 or 40% drawdowns the whole time during the cycle for Bitcoin. And we haven't had that this go. That would be a $30,000 or $40,000 drop from where we're at right now. And most people in an ETF wouldn't be able to stomach that. They would immediately sell and get out. And that'll have a cascading effect when that happens, because it's going to. It works both directions. So anyway, that's my thesis behind it. We've already seen it happen in the past. I believe it'll happen again. And there's not enough XRP on exchanges to be able to, cover the demand for the spot ETFs. We've got 18 spot ETFs that have currently been filed for XRP in particular. And that doesn't count the one that's coming from BlackRock. So that would be 19 that would be on the market. Maybe they'll be the 20th. Maybe we'll get one more before BlackRock announces their ETF. So price range depends on what they want to drive it to. They will have full control over whatever price they want to move it to when the time comes, because there's only maybe 500 million XRP left on the exchanges for sale. If you can look at the wallets, you can verify that. You can look at all the exchange wallets. They have about 6 billion XRP across all the exchanges, but in the wallets that they use to buy and sell, that's not their personal stashes or their business stashes for treasury, there's about a half a billion XRP left. So at current prices, you're looking at 1.5 billion. That's chump change for the investment banks. And if they're all buying at the same time, chomping at the bit to fill up their spot ETFs, and everybody else is too, you can bet your butt that we're going to see a significant price rise. I think 2 to 3 digits is completely reasonable. Todd says, Skull Brother. What's up, man? He says, Jake, thanks for all that you do. What would be the impact of Basel III on the XRP? What is your read on the ISO delay from 310 to 724? They're going to keep pushing. They're going to keep kicking the can as long as they can until transparency is required. And they have to have something in place to be able to mitigate the collapse of things and be able to de-risk and settle real time. So until XRP is up in value and settling transactions, I think they'll continue to push things off, but I think it'll become much more imminent on the other side of price appreciation for XRP, and they won't have a reason to delay things the way that they have. It's just, we're starting to get audits of federal agencies. We got Fort Knox coming. We got the SEC. We got the Treasury. I need to go audit the Pentagon. I can. Anyway, excited for what Elon's doing, but we've seen delay after delay after delay. I'm not surprised that they pushed it again. But I think this is the year for a lot of changes to happen here in 2025. Just so we have, people participating, and I'm answering questions over here on TikTok. Want to hop over here real quick. We got, this guy says, I believe in XRP and XLM. I do too, brother. And we've got, did you have a hair transplant? I sure did. And I'm not shy about it. I got this done in Turkey in June last year. It's been 8 months since my hair transplant. You can go check it out on the video on the channel if you want to go check it out on YouTube. Mut is our guy over there at Estee Mark Clinic in Turkey. If you guys want the information about that, happy to share it. I think, look, 90% of people's perception is your physical appearance. When they first see you, are you physically in shape? Do you present yourself well? Do you have a high level of personal confidence? And all those things are reflective of what you think about yourself. My hairline was thinning. It was bugging me personally. I think, I've been able to perform at a higher level since I got the hair transplant done. I'm excited about it. I like how I look. And at the end of the day, that's really all that matters. Not to sound arrogant, but like what you think about yourself is what matters. And you exude that when you interact with other people. So if you are worried about your hairline or your teeth or your nose or anything to do with your facial features, I'm a proponent of that. I think you go get it fixed. Cosmetic surgery, I think, helps a lot of people's self-confidence and self-image. And happy to give you guys the referral if that's anything that you're interested in. XDC, bullish on XDC, bullish on the network, bullish on a tool, and Ratesh getting a U.S. office for XDC. Trade finance is a significant use case, and I think they've done a really good job of curating a market and a token that transmits value for any type of contract value. So like when we talked to Comtech, I was in Dubai last year and spoke at XDC's offices. Comtech Gold, they do warrants on gold there in Dubai, which is a paper representation of value. Debt notes, I think, will be tokenized on XDC. You've got bill of lading and not collectibles, but receivables, right? So people that have a bill, accounts payable, they build somebody for something, they have to make delivery of it, they've got to wait for it to land, they need money. You can finance that, pay them 90% of the money that they're going to receive for the bill or what they're selling, and then you get the full 100% when it lands and is delivered by the end of the quarter. If you're doing that and you had, $10 million and you're putting that to work and earning 40% a year, doing pretty good. It's $4 million in returns on $10 million you put out. So anyway, I think that'll be a huge deal for us at the family office, and it's definitely something we're going to be looking into on the other side of price appreciation for XRP to be able to generate returns for our clients. We got Sean Size. He says, does better markets Amicus derail XRP? Great job. Haven't even looked at that. I don't know what better markets Amicus is. So I can't tell you. I can tell you from the conversations that I've had with 3-letter agencies, multiple enterprises, MasterCard, Visa, Ripple, R3, and all the other people that we've talked to over the last 2 years, that I bet not. But maybe. Let's see here. We've got... I don't see any other super chats over here, so we'll just go ahead and run down some questions. We got Jufu baby. They say, or Juf baby. They say, what do you think the designation of XRP being a commodity? Sorry, fixing that screen here. Do for the value of the asset? It's not a commodity. XRP is a currency. It was designated a currency by FinCEN and almost every other nation globally. I don't know why people want to continue to call it a commodity. I know Ripple met with the CFTC and the head over there at Ripple's office. I don't know if the CFTC will end up being the operator or the governing body over crypto. It's quite possible that there are a large majority of things that do become a commodity. Bitcoin has been designated a commodity. Same thing with ETH. ETH is for sure a security at this point, being a pure proof of stake protocol. And I think that designation will get rectified and really kind of already has. If you look at Prometheum, nobody likes those guys. Everybody in the ecosystem hates them, but they call ETH a security. I would agree with them on that. And people would be mad about that. And that's okay. But if it's pure proof of stake, if you're giving up consideration to somebody else for returns on their efforts, which is what you're doing with pure proof of stake, that is a securities offering. And there should be a PPM, a subscription agreement, an operating agreement, a filed Reg D, Reg A, Reg CF raise that somebody's put together that's wrapped, that staking pool in that offering. And it should be only accredited investors or qualified investors or people that know and understand the risks that should be participating in that. So anyway, just my 2 cents. But I would say XRP is a currency all day long and not a commodity. Maybe it could be used in the capacity of a commodity, but yeah. We got Knowledge Seeker says, buying XRP is a long-term investment and don't expect day trade results. I mean, you got 400% in the last 3 months here, bro. People are hungry for more. Unless you've been here for 5 or 7 years and now you're just now back to even on some of your stuff you bought back then, or maybe you bought at the top of the 2021 bull run. I'm with you. I view a lot of these digital assets as investments. Okay, an investment to me means at least 4 years is what you're waiting on for return. There's some people, I've been in it 4 years, and we have some returns. It's not like I'm without returns at this point, but I do think things are going to go much, much higher than they currently are for XRP in the next quarter for sure. I can't say for sure. My legal counsel is going to get me. I anticipate significant upside in XRP in the near future. anyway, yeah, I'm with you. People that are here for a quick buck will weed themselves out. They'll sell, and miss the continued upside and the benefit. I'm highly confident that XRP ends up a tier 1 asset designated by the BIS, which is the Bank of International Settlements. They regulate what tier 1 assets are. Right now, it's U.S. Treasuries and gold. I think XRP will sit alongside that as a riskless asset in the banking system, and your ability to borrow against it, if you're holding it, will be premium collateral, and it will be the collateral that's used for the derivatives market, and many other things in the future. Just my opinion. We got Benji says XRP, XLM, HBAR, XDC, XForce. I second that. I like all of those personally. I'm in Texas all right. That's awesome. I'm not far from Dallas. We do have an event for people that don't know. If you want to come out, Oklahoma City, be up there on Thursday this week. If you are in the Mastermind, you can participate in that event. And would love to see you there. Logan Dow says XRP is a scam. Here I'll talk about some of the reasons people might think that. And I already said this earlier. Ripple does sell XRP onto the market to fund their business. People can be mad about that, but that is how they do it. The first 32,000 blocks for the network are erased. There are no full history nodes. I think the reason for that is if you saw who was involved on those transactions, those early transactions, and what went on, it would be very obvious that XRP is the winner over Bitcoin. And they don't want that. They don't want it to be very easily identifiable, and people view that as a negative. I'm okay with it. It doesn't bother me. That just tells me that there's a reason they needed to hide that stuff. And maybe it's bad. Maybe it's different than the reason I think. There's definitely a lot of theories out there about things, but I wouldn't say XRP is a scam. It's felt like a scam at times. Let me tell you, holding it for 4 years while everything else was going up in value and watching Solana go on a bull run while we sat there at 50 or 60 cents was hard. It was hard for a lot of people. A lot of people jumped off the boat and got on other stuff and left the ecosystem. I've seen thousands, probably tens of thousands of people come in and out of XRP over the last 4.5, 5 years. And I've just been consistent, been here the whole time, just dollar cost averaging. And it's definitely been worth it. I can tell you that. And I'm highly bullish on the asset now that we have a Congress with bipartisan approval of digital assets and a president that's looking to rectify certain financial sectors and the government. And we got Doge. There's a lot of things behind transparency, settlement, and speed, and the U.S. remaining a dominant global force when it comes to global economics. And I think XRP is definitely going to be involved in that, whether people want it to or not. It's going to end up as part of the reserve for digital assets here in the U.S. Let's see here. I'm probably going to hang out for another 20 minutes or so, and then we'll shut it down tonight. A bunch of people over here on TikTok always concerned with price. And people here, and rightly so, right? Like, it's your investment. You're trying to make money. You're trying to provide for your family. You want to see some price appreciation. I'll answer this one. Barney 838 says, thoughts on gold. Almost at $3,000, which is great. I'm glad to see the price appreciation happening there for people. A lot of people are going to be mad about this statement, and that's okay with me. I think gold is fairly priced. I don't think it's underpriced. I think it is a completely fair price where it's at. And I assess that by the gold to other thing ratios, right? So if you look at the gold to S&P, it's about middle of the road. What it's normally been the average over the last 100 years that the S&P's been around. You look at gold to real estate. It's pretty fairly priced in comparison. It's about at the mean of what gold to real estate has been the whole time. Yeah, I think that gold, dollar denominated gold, is fairly priced. Daryl over here says he's American. I am American. Yeah, I'm in Texas. Um, but we do have, tons of people in the mastermind that are international. Outside the U.S., we have people from the U.K., Europe, Austria, Scandinavia, all over the EU, which is awesome. Spain, Portugal. We have other people in the Middle East that are there in the mastermind, in Dubai and other locations there in Saudi Arabia. We've got people that are in Africa. They're in the mastermind. We have people in South America that are in the mastermind. People from Japan, people from Canada, Mexico. Just blown away. Australia. We got lots of people from Australia there in the mastermind, which is crazy. I never would have thought that we'd have a global reach and a global community of people that have aligned interest in digital assets. But we do, and it's crazy and really cool to see. And we have specific channels there where you can meet other people in your jurisdiction, whether that's Canada, the UK, or Australia, to get aligned with those people and have somebody else to talk to. Community is fantastic, especially when most people in society ostracize you for having any belief in this stuff. But if that's something you're interested in, you can go to beyondbroke.com and just use the code down here in the bottom corner. This way. There you go. Beyond Broke, number 1, MO, all capitalized, just like that. Gets you a free month there in the group. Try it out. If you don't like it, cancel. No skin off your nose, no losses, no hard feelings. We want to provide as much value as we can to people, and we think we do a really good job of there in the community. Great culture, people trying to help people be proactive and make sure that they're set up for success. And we will lock it down. So that's something I haven't said in a while. But on the other side of a $10 XRP, it's done. We're locking it down for 30 days. We're putting in extreme screening systems. And we're raising the prices of the mastermind 10x on the other side of price appreciation. So the people that are there, you're grandfathered in, you're locked in at the current rates. You'll never be charged more than what the current rates are for participating in that group. But anybody that comes in on the other side of price appreciation is going to have to be approved after a screening process and have to pay 10 times the amount to be able to join the group and participate. So would love to have you guys there if that's something that you're interested in. Like I said, almost 1,500 people there in that group running private deals together, helping each other out and providing each other value, which, again, just super blessed and grateful to have that community and be a part of it myself. This person says $4 max for XRP. I think you're going to miss out on a lot of money if that's where you sell, brother, but you do what is best for you and your family. ADA, we got somebody asking about Cardano. I've met Charles. I've talked to his family office. They custody their Cardano with Wave. I met them and Caitlin Long at Rare Evo last year in Vegas. Probably sponsor that again this year and go. A lot of cool people there. Building a bunch of DeFi games on that network, but I really haven't seen any practical use cases for Cardano. I just don't know what it's going to be used for in a real world application. Charles apparently got salty again with the XRP army the other night. It's very emotional. Charles isn't that old either. So Charles is only, I think, 3 years older than me. He's 36 years old. He looks a lot older than that. I think it's the beard, and he is up there in Utah. Gets pretty cold in Utah. Or actually Wyoming. Excuse me, Wyoming's where he is at, and he has his ranch. And maybe I'm just jealous. Maybe I'm jealous that he's a billionaire and I'm not yet. Maybe that's the case. But anyway, I don't know what Cardano is going to be used for. I haven't figured that out yet. I think it's going to be used for something. It's a good technology. It has good smart contracts. Charles is a super sharp guy, and there's a lot of good people involved with that ecosystem. I just don't know what the niche is that they're going to fall into. So I hope they find that soon. And then I would be able to give you like an idea of where I think the value is going to go. But right now it's just complete speculation. Dr. Denise, how are you? They say any time horizon on XLM, HBAR appreciation. Do you think Elon will choose XLM for X money with his relationship with Jed McCaleb? I do think that any peer-to-peer payments platform is going to use Hyperledger, hands down. Low value payments, anything less than $10,000 moving between peer-to-peer payments, merchant payments, stuff like that, Hyperledger all day. Micro payments, Hyperledger all day. Same thing for HBAR. I think any Web3 DApp over the long term, Google, Dell, all the other large tech players are looking at HBAR, sitting on their council. The fees on HBAR are fixed, dollar-denominated fees, which is fantastic for scalability of the network and the token. Price appreciation, sometime here in 2025. I think HBAR in particular, you've got ETFs for some money to flow into that, along with XRP, super bullish on HBAR. I'm confident that XLM will appreciate, but I think it's going to come later. Yeah, I think that stable coins, issued for peer-to-peer payments, probably come later. CBDCs for peer-to-peer payments probably come a little later. I think wholesale back-end settlement for enterprises and institutions is likely the main friction and use case where XRP is adopted, and then you're going to see some of that cascade down into the two that you mentioned there, within the next 12 to 18 months. This is just my thesis. I'm just a guy. These are my best guesses. I don't have a crystal ball. If I did, I'd have a lot more money than what I currently do. Rippler FX says, if we have our XRP with Anchorage to earn yield, do we still have to pay annual custody fees, or is it just AUM fees? It's just the AUM fees. Yeah, it's just the AUM fees. Custody fees and all the other, compliance fees are rolled into that. Digital Wealth Partners does not make money. Just so that you guys know, like that company that we founded, that I've funded out of my pocket for the past year and a half, when it didn't have any customers or revenue or anything, and got all the employees on board and got all the compliance done and paid for all of the attorney's fees and everything else that we've done. I fronted the money for that, and it does not make enough money to cover its current costs with the AUM fees. I'm hopeful that it will, right? Like, I'm here to, create enterprise value and capitalism and provide a product where people make a lot of money and we do really well together. But yeah, the fees that we pay there do barely cover costs, and still don't. They only have 1 month. So anyway, yes, to your answer to your question, the AUM fee is the only fee aside from performance fees. Performance fees cannot be assessed until we make you at least 8% returns. That does not include the appreciation of your assets. So if you bring your assets over, we don't get any of that. You made those investments previous to any advised action by Digital Wealth Partners. The only way that we generate, performance fees is if we put it to work and earn more than 8% outside of the appreciation that your assets had when you brought them to us, or will have even on the other side of that. So, and that I structured this all in a way like, as if I'm the client, because I am, how I would want it to be done. I want it to be in people's favor. Most wealth management firms are not going to do that. The investment banks are not going to do that. So anyway, yeah, that's the only fee at the current time, especially if you have less than 1.1 million in assets with us. Until if the price appreciates or we are generating enough return, and we'll take our return out of what we generate also for the AUM fees. So shouldn't be any cost to you as long as you're getting those returns. A couple more super chats here, and then we'll lock it up for tonight. Jeremiah, how are you, sir? I saw you say that you were going to hit me up tonight. He says, have you heard about Telcoin Bank? It's going to be the first bank to connect consumers to DeFi. I mean, I would argue that Anchorage is probably the first bank to connect people to DeFi, since they can do staking. And they're the only federally chartered bank that still has the capability to do staking. But sounds like Telcoin Bank is on the right track. Semantics, right? For who's first doesn't really matter. I'm just excited that somebody's doing it. And yeah, definitely excited about Tailcoin. I think people underestimate these social media networks and, these tokens or value that they're transmitting. X is going to be huge when they start doing payments. They have almost all the money transmitter licenses in all 50 states that they need. You got, Facebook, you've got Instagram, you've got, so that's Meta. You've got, TikTok. I don't know who TikTok ended up getting acquired by, or if they're going to get acquired by Microsoft. But all of these are going to issue their own stablecoin and potentially another token that's associated with moving value within their ecosystem. That's a layer 2 on Hyperledger or the XRPL. Would be my best guess. So anyway, super awesome to hear that. Excited about that opportunity, and appreciate you sharing that with everybody here on the live. He also says, appreciate you on the super chat, man. He says, I've heard XRP and liquidity pools will surpass the value of XRP outside the liquidity pools by the way of compounding interest. You'll get an interest for sure, but here's the piece of this. So in any instance where XRP is valued at a higher price on a side chain or wrapped or in any other context rather than regular XRP, people will arbitrage that and the price will become the same. Because I asked David Schwartz this, and that's exactly what he gave me. And I would trust David, like he understands the protocol at a deeper level and the economics of the on-chain, transactions better than anybody else would. And so there's no instance where XRP will be more valuable on a side chain or wrapped or inside of a DeFi product than it is on the main network. All XRP will be the same price at all times. But you will be able to earn interest in some of these DeFi applications. You can earn returns right now with Digital Wealth Partners. We've gauged interest for the funds and everything that we're doing, and those will be launched here in the imminent future, according to my team. So excited about that. If that's something you're interested in, you're a accredited investor, you want insurance on your assets, you want to be able to set up beneficiaries, you want your spouse as a signer on the accounts to know that it's safe, secured, insured, above par on everything, and the capability to borrow against it and earn returns on the XRP, please reach out to Digital Wealth Partners through the website, digitalwealthpartners.net, or you can email them at info@digitalwealthpartners.net. A couple more people over here on TikTok, and then we'll wind it down for tonight. This person says, do you still see XRP hits $1,000 this run? Yes, I do. Again, that's contingent on macroeconomic events playing out. If it's just speculation, you might see the 10 or 13 bucks. ETFs could drive it higher than that, in my opinion. But you need, settlement. You need the necessity to settle the back end of the stock market for $1,000 XRP. And I do think that's going to play out. I'm highly confident. Otherwise, I wouldn't talk about it. Let's see here. Thoughts on GRT Graph? I like Graph. A lot of people have made money on Graph. I don't know enough about it to give you a price prediction or anything on it. But I do know many of our clients do hold that token, and we can custody it. Thoughts on XRP price appreciation and everything with ETF approvals, banks taking over? Yeah. Like I said just now, $1,000 XRP, and that sounds crazy. So I'll just go ahead and run through the domino theory and what actually has to unfold for that to take place, because there are qualifiers. It's not like just, you wake up tomorrow and it's $1,000. Like anybody that's telling you that, they're off the rocker. Okay. There needs to be justification. There needs to be actual things happen in real life that would drive that. So here it is. You need the reverse carry trade to unwind. Some people know what that is. Some people don't. So I'll explain the reverse carry trade. In Japan, interest rates have been 0, sometimes negative. Like they would pay you to borrow money, which is crazy. But negative 1% is what they got to. They were actually paying people to borrow money. So lots of people globally saw that and they were like, oh, I'm going to borrow some yen for free. So they borrowed the yen, tens of trillions of dollars. Investment banks, retail investors, high net worth individuals, VCs, hedge funds, you name it. Family offices borrowed a bunch of yen. They took that free money that they got in yen swapped it to dollars, got to pay some money to do that, maybe 1%, whatever. And then they took that and put it to work in the stock market, treasuries, bonds, gold, crypto, anything that was generating returns is free money, right? Basically riskless, especially if you bought US treasuries with it, like many people in Japan did to be able to earn interest. So they would borrow yen, swap it for dollars, buy US treasuries. Japan is the largest foreign debt holder of the United States at like $1.6 trillion worth of treasuries. So when their interest rates are coming up and our interest rates are coming down, the margins that people are making on that money, because those loans are variable, start to get squeezed. And it costs you money to sell your position, and it costs you money to take those dollars and swap it back to yen, especially if there's a run and a bunch of people are doing it at one time. They know that. That's about 1.5 or 2% of the total money that they've got to pay just to get it back over here to repay the loans. So if there's not even that much margin that they're making, that's where the problems ensue. And especially if Japan is hiking interest rates quickly, like we saw in August of last year, that's when you got the first preview of what's going to happen. You had 13% down in the S&P 500 in a single day. And then Japan was like, whoa, we're not gonna raise interest rates anymore until market volatility slows down. And that's what they did. They halted raising rates and let things settle down. And now they've started to raise rates again, and people are starting to get scared again, and they're starting to sell off. You've already seen the FANG stock sell off. You've seen NVIDIA sell off because of DeepSeek, and then tariffs, all garbage. Okay, that is people seeing what's happening in Japan, seeing our interest rates, unwinding those positions and selling off their positions to repay that before it's a problem. But there's going to be a moment where everybody runs for the door, and that's what leads to the rest of these dominoes. So that's going to be a global credit call when that happens, a global credit crisis, just like another 2008. Anyway, so when that happens, there's going to be significant volatility in the treasury market. Japan's going to dump their U.S. treasuries, and you're going to see all of the other BRICS nations take that opportunity to do the same thing. They're going to dump the U.S. dollar also. You're already seeing China de-risk and Russia de-risk, but the rest of the BRICS nations that are part of that, BRICS Plus, they're all going to dump their U.S. debt at the same time to destabilize the U.S. dollar. Well, our recourse when that happens, and what we will have to do, is pass stablecoin regulation here in the U.S. And that will drive huge amounts of demand by all of the domestic players, investment banks and enterprises both, to issue privatized stablecoins and soak up that foreign debt off the market and back their stablecoins with it, which is great. That'll stabilize the treasury market. It now gives XRP full clarity and XLM both clarity from Congress as bridge currencies, because that's the definition that's in that bill. Alongside that gives them full recourse to sanction Tether, because Tether won't be able to de-risk the Bitcoin on their balance sheet. They won't be able to sell it out fast enough because they have a portion of it that's locked up in a lawsuit with Celsius. So now all of those accounts get frozen. Imagine the liquidity crisis if across all exchanges, when Tether gets frozen or sanctioned. You've already seen Crypto.com delist Tether. You've already seen all of the exchanges in the EU delist Tether. Tether's moved offshore to El Salvador because they know this is coming. So that's going to happen. In the Shane Ellis theory, he talked about Bitfinex or another exchange having that situation and then leaning on XRP and driving the price up to 589 to be able to facilitate the trades on their platform. So that's just one exchange. Imagine if all the exchanges have to do that at the same time. They roll out the XRP ETFs at the same time. They're pouring liquidity in. And now, on top of Tether being sanctioned and that being shut down and the exchanges being illiquid and the stock market collapsing, pandemonium, chaos, okay, there's going to be a huge drawdown in Bitcoin, like I talked about earlier, 30 or 40%. People in the ETF, they're not here for that. They're not diamond hands. They're selling. They're out. Bye. So they're going to sell, and then it's going to be even further and greater downward pressure So those are huge unrealized losses for the investment banks. They can't sell off positions in stocks. They're limit down. There's a credit lock. So the only way they'll be able to de-risk from those losses on Bitcoin is if they can settle real time, just like that market does. And to be able to do that, on May 28th last year, they passed T+1 with the option, the DTCC has the option to settle real time with a digital asset. And they can do that through Project Ion, which was developed with R3 and finalized in 2022 using, guess what? XRP. So that whole onslaught there that I just laid out is what's going to happen to drive the price of XRP to $1,000 or higher. Okay. Until any of that happens, I'd be surprised if we see all-time high, to be honest with you. And I know that's not what people want to hear, but with the current constraints on things, it's the reality of the situation. Retail is not driving this market. You're not going to see all-time high for XRP with retail. It has to be institutions. So anyway, this gentleman says, sounds like a fairy tale at this point. It does, right? Like it's a specific scenario that plays out and has predetermined points that have all been set up and are in position to happen, but you have to have that reverse carry trade in Japan kick it off. This person says, if it goes to 10, I'm a happy camper. I think a lot of people would be. I think a lot of people would be happy with $10 XRP, but I think a lot of people would be even more happy with $100 or $1,000 XRP. I know that we would. You know, we've got almost close to 100 million XRP under management at Digital Wealth Partners, and we believe in the asset, and we believe in our clients that are holding the asset, and we also think we could be the world's largest wealth manager, bigger than Bessemer Trust, if we're right about this. So we will see. Larry Fink seems to think that Bitcoin will hit 700K. I haven't heard him say that explicitly, but if you can find the video and post it in here, I would love to see it. Angus says, R3, you say, cheers, congrats on the Forbes nod. Thank you. Appreciate that, brother. Yeah, R3, I would Google Project Ion, R3, and the DTCC if you don't believe me. Go check it out. This person says, when do you anticipate the bull run to kick off? The bull run's already started, brother. I mean, 400% returns on XRP is a bull run to me, especially since it's been flat for 5 years. When the reverse carry trade unwinds, I think you're going to see crazy market dynamic shifts in a very short period of time. First time here, do you think XRP reaches 10K? Yeah, but I like 2026, 2027. I think that you're going to have a lot of asset classes tokenized and moved onto the XRPL, and XRP being used to settle all those transactions. You're not going to see 5 digits or more until the derivatives market moves on chain. Codius is a big piece of that. That was an initiative that Ripple's been developing for the past 12 years alongside the other stuff that they've been working on. So yeah, I do think it gets there, but I think there's a lot of things that have to happen first before that's even possible. What do you require a minimum for your XRP asset management? 100,000 XRP, but we are going to drop that to 50,000 here next week. So if you have at least 50,000 XRP next week, definitely reach out to Digital Wealth Partners if that's of interest to you. Happy to work with people in that capacity. The first day of that promotion that I think they're going to run, I'm just going to talk to people about it. I'm not running it. It's Digital Wealth Partners that are going to push that. Will be the 24th. I think they'll be willing to accept 50,000 XRP as the minimum for management. He just gave a full thesis about process, bro. Come early next time. You can watch this back. This is recorded here on YouTube for people to watch it back. And yeah, we do this again every Monday night and Wednesday night. We did miss last Wednesday because I was at a conference here for Board of Advisors in Dallas. It's a high-level mastermind group of people. excited that they moved it here to Dallas. Got to meet a lot of really good people there in the group, business owners doing multiple 6 figures, 7 figures, 8 figures, a few billionaires there in the group, which was really cool. And everybody there gave their own testimony and talked about, what they're working on and how they got to where they are and keys to success, which was, I like being around really positive, good people that have had success and learning from them. And I'll continue to put myself in rooms to do that. So just been really blessed. And every time I've spent more money to be in rooms that I didn't belong in, it's always turned out good for me. So I'll continue to do that. So anyway, Jeremiah says, please get that to him. It wouldn't let me super chat it. I think I answered your super chats, brother. If you can DM me. I see you all the time posting in the comments over there on Twitter. Appreciate your support. Anybody know how I can get to him? Just email me. You can just email me at info@digitalfamilyoffice.io if you want to email. With that, we are going to go ahead and wrap it up. I will say again, if you want to, set up an LLC for your digital assets and make sure that you're prepared for price appreciation, you can do that at digitalfamilyoffice.io, LLC formation, and use the code 50OFF, 50OFF, DAG, like Digital Ascension Group, LLC, all capitalized, gets you 50% off the $3,000, so $1,500 all in. EIN, Articles of Organization, Registered Agent, Certificate of Good Standing, BOIR, Operating Agreement, how to set up the bank account, and the process to move your assets into the corporation. We run it down for you, handle everything end to end so that you don't have to think about it. You do have to sign a few things and notarize that copy, but would be, highly beneficial for anybody that owns more than $50,000 to $80,000. Can you repeat that slower? I sure can. It's digitalfamilyoffice.io to set up the LLC. You just type LLC in the search bar and it'll pull up the form. There you go. Living Legacy posted it here in the chat if you want to go check it out. And then the code there is 50OFF, 50OFF, DAG, like Digital Ascension Group, LLC. And they get you everything end to end, $1,500 out the door. And we'll manage it for you and make sure that everything's done. Yeah, here you go. Living Legacy's got it. He's always helping me out. Appreciate you, Mike. Anyway, and Mike is great also, just so you guys know, he's taking a spot to help us in the Mastermind. If you do want to be part of the group there, we got almost 1,500 people in the Beyond Broke Mastermind with, an allocation to digital assets. It's meaningful to them. A lot of really, really good people there in that group. Try to make it super affordable for people that want to participate. Social memberships, $25 a month. Carbon One, to be able to participate on the deals and get access to all the resources on the website, is $100 a month. And then we have Carbon 2, which is mostly business owners and high-level professionals that are a bit further along with their estate planning or their investments. We have a private meeting for them every Tuesday night. So anyway, if any of that sounds interesting to you, we'd love to, have you there in the group. Just connect with me on LinkedIn, and then you can use the code Beyond Broke, all capitalized, the number 1, and then MO, also capitalized, like Mary Oscar. Get you a free month there in the group. If you don't like it, you can cancel. We're not for everybody. Not everybody's cup of tea, and that's okay. We just provide as much value as we can for people, and we want to continue to do that. So with that, we'll go ahead and wrap it up. I hope you guys have a wonderful week, a wonderful Monday, a wonderful night this evening. We will be back Wednesday again on the live to run this down with more questions. And until then, God bless, and we will see y'all on the next one.